I feel like I'm some sort of merge between Howard Stern, my girl Oprah, she has the Illuminati, and something like that, like the Joe Rogan, Oprah.
So you're like a
Howard
child
Stern.
if Howard Stern and Oprah got together? That's what you'd come out?
Maybe, I guess so. I don't really know. I don't know.
That's what you just described.
Yeah.
So they had a kid and it was you.
It's like shooting that Poker Central show I shot
Please,
before.
let me meditate for a second, Joey.
Really
I need to
is.
do the introduction for our
Those
show.
guys, Spielsberg. Do you remember when we were recording the Poker Central show and they made me fucking do every intro like 7 times? And they kept telling me to say things that I would never say in
We're
my
going to have to do
life.
this one. So, yes, I do. That was very frustrating for that
Yeah.
show. What was that show? Major Wager?
Major Wager.
Major Wager with your top hat and
PokerGO.
stuff? Yeah. Don't hit this table or else we're going to do another cut.
I'm not.
Our official introduction. I'm going to introduce you, Joey.
You think
I don't need to, but I'm going to. Poker Central Life podcast. We're going to blend the two worlds here.
Okay.
I'm excited, man. I'm a little juiced up over here.
The
king of poker media. That's what I call you. I think that sticks. That's the only thing I want to call you. Chicago Joey,
should
Detective
this be my
Joey.
New branding? Should this be my new thing? The king of poker media.
The king
I should call
of
myself
poker
this from
media.
now on? Okay. I mean, I'm not. I don't even know what that means, but I'm not opposed to it. Does that mean that I create media that people watch? Or
You're the king. You're
what
like
does that mean?
the Howard Stern is the king of media. You're the king of poker media.
I feel like I'm some sort of merge between Howard Stern, my girl Oprah, she has the Illuminati, and something like that, like the Joe Rogan, Oprah.
So you're like a
Howard
child
Stern.
if Howard Stern and Oprah got together. That's what you'd come out.
Maybe, I guess so. I don't really know. I don't know.
That's what you just described.
Yeah.
So they had a kid and it was you.
Yeah, I've heard all 3
like
of those
that.
names been described as me as before. Howard
Yeah.
Stern, Oprah, and Joe Rogan. So I say, okay, we'll go with it.
Well, you've been, I mean, by the way, it is such a relief to have you here because usually it's Remco Rinkema.
What's wrong with Remco?
Well, he's just on an extended vacation now. He's off in Siberia.
What's he doing?
He did London. Now he's with his family, his dogs. He's got running over there in Siberia.
The guy's been working hard since World Series of Poker, right?
The guy, working hard. The guy takes more holidays, as they call him over there on the other side of the pond.
I'm pretty sure he's European, so that's very normal. Like I think he looks at Western or American culture and says, why do Americans not take more vacations? And it's when you compare it to how the rest of the world lives, makes sense.
Getting all deep on me about this. I'm just saying he's not here, and I'm thrilled that you are here.
Thank you.
And this is amazing for me.
I live very close by. Luckily, this is
works
nice
out,
for me. This
yeah.
is the benefit of living in Las Vegas.
You've been gone. I mean, essentially disappeared for like 2 months.
Yes.
You came out with your first Poker Life podcast video with Doug Polk yesterday.
The Supreme Leader I did. The very liked and also not liked on occasion Doug Polk. It's very correct. Yes.
Where have you been?
I've been at home in the lab studying, man. 10 to 12 hours a day studying. Just really, I feel like what happened is that at some point in time, I just haven't been very happy with what I've been doing for the past year or so. And I couldn't really figure out why. And I think just the way I was framing my life and the way I was looking at what I was doing was very, just could have been a lot different. And I think that, I don't know, man. I think I've just evolved a lot since I started my podcast. When I started my podcast, I basically just played poker 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All I thought about was poker. I loved poker. I didn't know anything else. I didn't do anything else, really. Couldn't talk about much else. I just was like, what do you know? I know poker. What do you want to talk about? Like, nothing else. And so as I started my podcast, I started learning about the world. And I'd have someone on the podcast, like my man Sean Lafort, one of the first shows I did, and he's talking about diet. And I'm like, so wait a sec, you're supposed to eat this. Like, I didn't even know diet. I didn't know you're supposed to drink water. My diet was fucking terrible. My habits were just really bad. And all I really did was just play poker in a very inefficient way. But I put so much effort and hard work into it that I was able to succeed at a very high level because that's all I did. And I just realized I was evolving over time, and I just started realizing like whoever I was when I started doing content is not who I am now. But the way I'm approaching my life and approaching my content is that I am still that same person, and I'm not really putting myself out there in this new person. I haven't really explored exactly who the fuck I am because I don't ever really deeply think. I just bury myself in my phone, or I never sit there with my thoughts and say, who am I? Why am I like this? What is it makes me happy? What is it I want to do with life? And I was just like, well, I just have to keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I was just, that wasn't making me happy at all. And I didn't really realize that I was feeling that way, until I had my buddy Garrett Adelstein on a podcast a couple months ago.
Great show, by the way, with Garrett, with the G-Man.
Yeah, he makes it great. Listen, he does
awesome.
a lot of this stuff. Yeah, he's, world class at just as a person. I love talking with the guy a lot, and he's helped me out just in terms of giving me perspective and advice and wisdom these past few months. And I just realized that I wanted to put that out there because Garrett helped me so much for being that vulnerable and sharing his thoughts. And some people are going to say like, whatever, fuck but it doesn't matter. Like, it is what it is. I don't give a fuck, right?
Yeah,
so it just, that is what it is.
I like that attitude about you too. That's the Chicago there.
Well,
like, I don't give a fuck.
It's more motivating than anything, right? Like, if you don't, whatever, like if it's, what do I lose out on? Opportunity or people saying that they like you? Like, what is that? What deep down, it's me at home by myself all the time for the most part. I got my friends, I got my girl, but it's me. I got to live with myself.
Shout out Shelby, by the way.
Yeah, shout out Shelby out there. She's my guardian angel. Without her in my life, I'd just never been possible. So
you just kind of been doing a little soul searching, figuring yourself out. I'll tell you what, though. That vulnerability that you're sort of, that you're expressing, that you're putting out there. I know it was a part of the Doug Polk podcast you just did. You guys got to check it out. It's amazing stuff. It's a side of Joey Ingram that you won't see before, including this intro with you. You're usually on the other side, you're sort of the Dr. Phil trying to figure stuff out. But there was like this different thing. It was like you're sitting back, putting yourself out there. Doug Polk was taken back. Like, what's going on here?
That's always been my strategy and my approach with my content. Like, I don't really talk about myself ever. And people know a little bit about me, but they don't really know much about me because I never really share who I am or what I think. And that's honestly because I didn't understand myself, and I'm still learning about that thing now. And I think that's a big reason why I was just afraid, right? You just have this fear of success, or fear of achieving anything, or fear of uncomfortability, or fear of failure.
Yeah.
I still have, that's still something I'm trying to deal with now. And I think I've done very well at the things I've tried to do, but it's also because I've dedicated a lot of my mental space to it. So if you dedicate your mental space to one or two things in your life, you're going to have success at it no matter what, and you do it consistently. But I've never put my all into my content. I've never put my all into my workouts. I've never put my all into poker in terms of what I feel like my potential is. And that's just me. Not everyone looks at it the same way. Other people have different priorities. They prioritize family and friendship first. And I said like, kind of fuck a lot of that stuff in some ways. And those are things I really regret, because I wish I had made a bigger effort to know what a healthy relationship is, and what a healthy friendship is, and how to be a good friend, and how to be a good family member. And these are things I actively knew I was sacrificing as I was playing poker, because I felt like that was what I needed to do to have success. But in retrospect, I wouldn't have done that. And that's how I don't want to be now. And I understand you have to sacrifice in some areas, or you just have to be more focused and more efficient with your approach. And I've never tried to do that. Like my podcast, it's my content. Like I said, it's had success, but almost because of just consistency.
Well, people love what you're doing out there. They love the guests that you bring on, the stories that you tell, the back and forth conversation. You have a tendency, as we can tell already, you're very philosophical. You go deep. And I think people really relate to that. By the way, I'm noticing, as you talked about how, all this stuff you struggle with, you and I have a lot in common, because I don't do anything well. I really suck.
Why?
Well, I like being very average. I don't want to excel at anything.
I would disagree, but I think that most people would fall into that category because they failed at some things, and they don't have the support system in place and the environment in place to ever push themselves past that and overcome that, which is why they are resigned to say, well, I'd like to be that. I don't even think that's bad, because if you think that's the way you have to be happy, and you don't think you know the different ways to pass that, why not? I think that's something I talked about yesterday on my podcast with Doug, is that we put the success on a pedestal, and success usually in this monetary standpoint, or in this how great have you aspired to be at your job and how much have you achieved. But I don't think it has to be that way. If you're fine with doing mediocre at your job and doing mediocre at this, or that's great, right? Like, that makes you happy. I think that's perfectly fine. And people, I guess, have a tendency to look down on people that say that, but I don't think so. It just means maybe you aren't compatible with another person, but there's always something you can be compatible with somebody about too. So I'm really been rethinking that a lot, just because everywhere you look, it's like, be a millionaire, wake up at fucking 6 a.m., eat this, eat that, right?
That I don't do.
But it's just it's make you feel like you're a fucking piece of shit if you don't do this, when that's not true. And the people that are pushing this message are people that are directly incentivized to push this message, because it benefits them to do that, because then they do better at their career, or they're a businessman. They're going to sell more product, or people are going to want to listen to them more because they want to follow that message, and then they just speak their message out there. So I think that if someone came out and said, like, hey, a life of mediocrity is great, and I'm rocking with it, and this is my life, you're going to find a lot of people are going to rock with you too.
And that's what I do, yeah.
Right, like that. That's how I think that's perfectly fine, and I think that we don't necessarily need to glamorize the most successful people all the time. But I think I personally looked up to those people in certain aspects of things, but there are people I look at that have very great, simple lives that I aspire to be like in a lot of ways because I think they do things very well with how they think about themselves and how they have these things in perspective. And I'll imagine at some point in time I'll end up living a much more simple of a life in a very different scale.
I hope so. Well, it sounds like you're getting down to it, and you're getting it all figured out as we speak, man. This is intense.
This is what 10 to 14 hours. This is what 10 to 14 hours stuff. But this is the thing: it's intense because no one talks about it.
Yeah.
Because people don't understand themselves to this level where they can even say these things, and people don't prioritize articulation and being able to articulate their thoughts and be able to helping others. And I think if you really want to help others, which is something I aspire to do, you have to know how to talk, and you have to know how to explain these things in a simple way that anyone can understand them. And hopefully someone out there maybe sees it and they're like, okay, like, bam, I picked up something like, oh, that sounds like me. And I've already got maybe 75 messages since yesterday of people saying like, wow, like you put that out there and that was helpful to me. And that's exactly what my goal was.
Okay. We actually have topics we're going to try and run through today.
I'm excited. I'm excited to get into them, man. I really
am. Okay. Well, I did these
realized
for a reason.
One thing I realized, I love poker so much. And I think that poker is unlike anything else in the world in that it gives you the ability to compete against people from all around the world, no matter your age, no matter your gender, no matter your sex, no matter who you are.
18 in some places,
Fuck that,
21.
Man. I know people 13 years old making $1 million.
Won a tournament at 13.
Exactly, that's
Eyes
what I'm saying.
closed, she's blind, all in, won it.
You won a tournament playing blind. You played that. Remember that? No, you got second, right?
What one?
What was that? What was that Poker Open that you played? What was it? A Poker Master, Poker Open? You got second to Brandon Adams, I think it was.
Scott Seaver?
Scott Seaver, yeah, Scott Seaver.
I was blind?
It felt like you were playing blind with some of the No, I'm kidding. I'm just. You got second, buddy.
I thought I was playing high-level poker, which brings me to one of our topics, by the way. And we're gonna.
You're still working here after getting second in that tournament. My God.
Well, kid, I tried to be great at Keno, so I lost all my money there trying to find my greatn's. I'm still trying to get really good at Keno. So topics for the day: PokerStars.
Get it? Okay.
You love that. Are GTO, the solvers, getting a bad rap? Yeah, I think so. We're going to talk more about that. Phil Ivey.
Your boy.
Okay, Phil Ivey, my boy Phil Ivey.
Your boy.
The first thing I want to... the power rankings are coming at the end. And the first thing I want to get into is your recent investigation video.
Bam.
Sherlock. I think, by the way, my favorite content that you do...
Mm-hmm.
And this is a no-brainer, right? 17 million videos on your UFC...
17.8 million.
17.8 million, sorry.
Views.
On your YouTube video about the UFC investigation with McGregor and Khabib.
Yes.
Right? You just put out a new one yesterday. I'm going to load it right here.
Okay.
We're going to roll the video for this show as well.
I cussed a lot in there. It's going to sound very different than what I just said.
Well, okay, hold on. I fucked it up already.
So let me set the stage, right? So
set the stage, yeah.
I basically, I love doing, I realized one big thing I love learning, and I'm just obsessed with learning. I'm super curious about everything, which is why I can do great podcast. By the way, you shouldn't have your phone there during the podcast because then it takes away your personal focus as well, too.
Well, yeah,
so
but if I get a fantasy alert, I got to change my team.
What are you going to,
well, you never know.
Monday?
A lot of injuries out there.
What is it, Monday? Wednesday.
Talk about this guy.
Your team's tomorrow. Okay. What are you talking about? You got what are you, high stakes fucking fantasy? You and Sam Simmons playing for $1 million or something like that?
I have a position.
Okay. Shout out Sam. Shout out Kerry.
Now it's Sam, yeah.
Okay. All right. But okay, Sam's so whatever. So I've done a few of these fight videos and I realized these fight videos use the best parts of me because I'm super sarcastic, I'm super energetic, I'm super passionate, and I fucking love fighting.
Yeah.
So and it allows me to bring all that out. I get to just say whatever's on my mind.
Yes.
Whereas if I do poker, and I've thought about doing poker hand bragging, he'd be like, oh, the guy check rate.
That's what I want.
I don't know if I can do that as much. So yesterday I saw this fight, and I saw one of the greatest athletic displays of human athleticism I've ever seen in a men's locker room fight in my entire life. My man went Superman off the lockers in what looked like a playful...
I haven't watched this yet,
right.
so I'm going to... Okay.
You're going to see it. It's crazy.
Can I go?
Go. Let's go.
All right, Twitter, in honor of my return to YouTube content, I made a fight investigation video. I just saw one of the craziest things I've seen in an amateur street fight in a very long time. We got my man Jimbo here. Looks like he just left a Dungeons & Dragons convention center. Looks like he might have been teaching a motherfucking science class or something like that. I don't know what's going on here. He steps into a locker room, gets into a slap fight here with my man in the wife beater shirt. And I got to say, you guys got to see what happens at the end here because this is some of the craziest shit I've seen. So I pick it up. I don't know what's happening. They're having a slap box. I mean, listen, I got a lot of questions. Like, how did we end up in the men's locker and my man's in the jeans with the combat boots? My guy's here in the slap. Look at it. He bobs underneath. We got to slow this one down. We got to pay attention. Take a close look here, guys.
Watch this.
So my man goes to the slap. My man over here in the white beater shirt. Too fast for him.
Watch
I like
this.
that. Boom.
Block this.
Okay, here we go.
Watch
here we
this.
go.
Block.
Here we go. Here we go.
Watch this.
Boom.
Watch this.
Right
with a fucking
get that
straight combo back.
Counter.
So
You gotta
he
watch
comes
this. Get
back.
fast,
He
guys.
dodges it as well,
fucking
too.
quick here.
Watch.
So my man here in the white beater shirt, he's gonna hit him in the side of the head. He's gonna get blocked. And it's whoa! Look at that block right there. Blocks him. Bam! Hits him right fucking back in the face. But my man doesn't absorb the full contact. Slaps him. Backhand. Boom, boom, boom. Now he pushes him. I don't think that's fucking legal in these fights, guys. All right? Boom, slaps him. Nothing yet. Trips over himself. Stumbling, mumbling, rumbling. Okay. Stumbling. Boom, bobbing and weaving. Floyd fucking Money Mayweather over here, the slap boxing champion of Jamaica High School over outside of fucking New York City right here. I like this guy's style. Bobbing and weaving. Holy shit! Oh my God! Look! Come on! Hey, what'd you do that to me for? Come on, buddy. All right, nice fight. My man, yeah, whatever. All right, we got to go back to this side. So watch this, guys.
Are you
right?
kidding me?
So
this is
my
one of the
man in the
greatest athletic
white,
displays
he's
I've
gonna be
ever
bobbing
seen.
and weaving like he's Floyd Money motherfucking Mayweather right here. Looks like he just got done with the money team. Looks like he just got done making $100 million out of a big fight. He's bobbing and weaving, right? Check this out. Pay attention. Bobs and weave. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Now the guy pulls his hair back. What the fuck's this guy doing? It's a slap fight. Why is this guy bobbing like we're in a boxing match? So watch this. Slow this down. Watch this right now. Watch this. Oh, Superman motherfucking.
Come on.
Holy shit. I don't even know what that's called. This guy goes Anthony Pettis WEC throwback style off the fucking gym locker. Look at this. Oh my God! But my Dan looks like he counters him there. I missed that initially. I was so taken aback. It looks like my guy actually gets a good counter. Who is this fucking gym teacher? Look at this guy. He hits him with the one leg. He's going to go in here, right?
This guy's
down frame by frame.
like
right. Look at this fucking agility. I love this guy. This guy's got a 99 in agility on fucking slap boxing 1994, I think. Look at this. Sprawled out. Goes in for the box. Look at this right here. My gym teacher, man, this guy's got some. Look at him. Watch this. He's going to connect right there. Boom! He gets the first. Look, he takes the contact. He gets a shot in there. Look at this. Oh, shit. He fucking rocks him. My man's rocked. Oh, man. But no contact, though. No one's hurt. Locker pulls his punch. Now my man, gym teacher, goes for it. And then he decides, okay, whatever this is, I'm done. Puts his hair back, gives a big smile. My man, Money Mayweather, looks like he just got done collecting his check. Business as usual, guys. Right now, fight investigation. Can't believe my eyes right now.
That gets my heart going.
I mean,
watching that back.
You have a gift. This is my favorite Joe Ingram content. I'm really from the UFC video to this here. This is your thing.
It really might be.
This is it.
I refuse to believe that, but other people have told me. I shot my guy David Williams. He said, "I think this is this is like what you're made to do. You're made to break down fights." And the thing is, if I become more knowledgeable about fighting and I can actually like reference certain moves in a more articulate manner, that even takes to another level because now it's like, all right, that's the Jimmy Conrad right there.
There it is.
They give him the Jimmy Conrad, the block. You
get a little vocabulary.
Exactly, but I don't know the words, so I have to just sort of be like vulgar in some ways as a strategy.
Make them up. You're going to end up being like a Bob Menery type character.
I've heard that guy before, and so I've realized.
Holy fuck tits!
I know, but you can do that with any of these videos, like any video or photo, you can essentially break down in like a passionate, energetic, sarcastic way. Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily have to be fights. It could be somebody mowing a lawn in like a weird way, and a bird comes out of the way, and they fucking run the bird over, and then they start crying. Like, so you could basically break these down. And I actually did this when Tiger Woods won the Masters, or he won some tournament. I can't remember what he won. Was it the Masters? What did he win?
The Masters.
Yeah, he won it, and I did like a little
the Masters.
That's wrong. I did like a little breakdown of it, and I was like, I don't want to post this. It's kind of out of line. So
No, I think Brooks Koepka won the Masters.
He won something.
Tiger won something recently, a major. I should know this. I watched the whole goddamn thing.
He won.
Anyway, now we look like idiots.
No,
I don't watch golf. Are you familiar with the Rex Chapman Twitter account? Block or Charge?
Someone else. So what I found out is like, okay, there's companies out there that will go to celebrities like Dennis Rodman and Hulk Hogan and Charlie Sheen. To name a few, shout out Big J. And what they'll do is they'll find these celebrities who are past their time but still have a following, and they'll propose that, hey, we'll take over your Twitter accounts and your Instagram accounts for you, and we'll help build it up with content that gets engagement. So what's happening is like accounts like that, they end up picking a niche or a theme, and then they just go with that. And yeah, I mean, the overall point of that is some marketing companies making a bunch of money by running these accounts for them like that. And they just have this really good strategy. I mean, the strategy that he uses, for example, is very, very easy and basic in that you're just like find these moments. Barstool Sports, what kind of Barstool Sports does, where they just find this funny content and then they just post it in an entertaining way.
It's
and
great.
That's what they become known for, sort of thing like that.
It's great. And I think a lot of people do the work for them. The brand has gotten so big that people will just submit, hey, look at this blocker charge sort of content. You put it out there and it gets huge.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's sort of, and it'd be good at poker. Someone did something poker like that, because there's a lot of really fun poker moments over time that are funny or trolly or angly, the slow rolls, the excitement, the this, to that. Maybe that's an idea. I could think about doing something
honestly,
like that.
I think that's your thing. I mean, that type of tone, that type of vocabulary that you're going to create your own sort of terminology.
I think that's one aspect of things. I sort of been thinking about it like I've been really trying to deconstruct why certain people are popular, what makes them great, what makes them successful at what they do. And Drake, I think, is someone I look at a lot in that he's been at the top of the music industry, which is very, 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 very competitive industry for many, many years now. And you sort of say, okay, well then how does Drake actually do this? And on the surface, you say, okay, well, he's got good songs, but when you really take a look at a strategy that he uses in terms of music, he creates multiple different genres of music. So he's able to appeal to a much wider audience than someone out there who's going to appeal to a narrow audience. And he understands that if he appeals to a wider audience, when more focused on women, that the men are going to naturally come by through that. So he understands the marketing in terms of where he's aiming his content for, and then that's only the music, and then outside the music, he's able to get his name out there by just latching on to whatever's popping in terms of mainstream sports. So he's got a really good strategy like that. And then when you take a look at content for myself, you sort of have multiple different things. So you have the podcast, you have the fight breakdowns, and I'm going to do more learning content, which is more philosophical in nature and more of investigative in nature, but a more serious tone that actually helps people learn and helps you learn about yourself, about the world, about how to be healthy, about how to get better at things. So I think that's going to be a big focus of my content in the future, is to break things down in a different way like that. And then I still like to do this stuff because it's just funny, man. It's fun, it's cool, and I just enjoy getting to be sarcastic.
Good at it, man.
Yeah, I enjoy getting to be sarcastic. It's very and not in an asshole way, because I feel like most sarcastic people are assholes.
So you got the GTO approach to how you think you want to handle all this stuff, which leads me to the next topic here.
Let's get it.
The GTO solvers, are they getting a bad rap? The whole conversation sort of started. And let me get to this, and we'll show you this tweet. Rob Young, I think, sparked this conversation.
Well, I hope I sparked this conversation.
You did?
I talked to, me and Rob had a discussion about this, and then he made that tweet.
Okay. So you led to it. So it's your fault.
Technically, because this is, I mean, it's a good conversation to have.
Right.
Because, so go ahead.
My question for you is, are the solvers bad for poker? If you're trying to go from what we would assume is this hardcore niche audience, and we want to expand into the casual fan base, sort of the medium core.
There's not a chance that's ever going to happen with the current marketing approach in poker. I think that the way that marketing's being done now is it's never going to work, because you have to look at what you're competing with in these other industries, and the other industries, they're directly incentivized. Like UFC is directly incentivized to promote its fighters and its competition, its sport, because they make more money and their value goes up. Whereas in poker, that's not necessarily the case. So you don't actually have a poker media company creating this media for its players, because they don't necessarily see the value. I would argue the value is there. So in poker, the only people who become very popular it's so easy to become well-known in poker right now.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is start a fucking vlog. That's it. And now if that's the case, if all you can do is start a vlog, and it doesn't matter if you're actually good at the game or know any idea what the fuck you're talking about.
Okay.
If you can just become well-known and people are like, oh, you made a vlog, like, tell me how to beat 2-5 or 5-10. Like, these people don't fucking know what they're talking about.
Okay.
So when you have this ability to become well-known so easily, and the actual people with knowledge, like Stephen Chidwick, he is
I want to get to Stevie. I'm pulling this up.
He is infinitely less well-known than a majority of Twitch streamers and vloggers.
But let me show you this hand. And here's my take on the... I think the GTO solvers, camp, it's bullshit.
Well, let me explain this a bit further, right? So let me explain, first of all, what a solver does. So I think people don't have any idea, and this is this is because the media hasn't gotten that point across to explain to the casual person what exactly a solver is and what a solver does. So how a solver works, how something like Pile Solver works, for instance, which is probably the most popular solver right now, is that you ask Pile Solver a question. Okay, you input different variables into there. You input their ranges, you input the bet sizes, and you get to choose these sizes, and you get to choose what you estimate these ranges and these sizes to be. You put in the starting stack, you put in what the pot size is, and so now you're going to ask Pile Solver a question. All right, and now if I ask it a shitty question where the variables aren't very good, I'm going to get back and answer that is probably going to lead me down a path where it's not going to help me out very much.
Right.
So basically what you want to do is how these solvers works is you put these problems in and you sort of solve the most common problems you find yourself in on a consistent basis in poker. But not everybody's going to be playing perfectly against you. So you also have to study potentially the deviations to understand, okay, if I think this person's deviating in this way, this is how I'm going to adjust. So essentially what it does is it just gives you a recommended solver strategy approach, assuming that that person's playing perfectly, which they're not. So your challenge is to take the solver strategy, take an exploitative strategy, and combine that to build your strategy. And then you have mental game side of things, you have soft skill side of poker. So there's multiple different things that matter in terms of making up this best poker player, great poker player sort of thing like that.
So I totally agree with all that. I think that's a great way to actually just sort of summarize what the solving is, that process is. Phil Galfond said it the other day on Twitter, and he said that today's day and age, this GTO solver camp, which again just seems like a very unfair category to lump people into, are much more aggressive than the old school day. I just think it sounds sort of negative. Like it has
I think it sounds ignorant when someone says that. If you say that, that shows you have no idea what you're talking about. Because if you're not studying with a solver, it's basically like okay, I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm not gonna do like bicep curls even though I'm training my biceps. It's basically you're saying I would never coach or stake someone that didn't study with solvers right now. I would never do that. Because you're basically saying that I don't want to use this very powerful resource that's available to me to get better, and I'm lazy.
What I'm saying is it's an unfair assumption that somebody, and let's use Stephen Chidwick as an example, right? I'm going to pull this video for you. Rob Young's sort of tone and people that responded were saying, oh, yeah, today's new era kids, these guys are so boring. It's so boring to watch it because it's all robotic. And
they are very boring.
They are, but that's also not true. What we capture...
No, their personality, it's a showmanship game, man. If you sit there and you don't fucking move and you don't say a goddamn word, that is boring.
But
I don't care about
your
play.
Boring.
Well, no, and the problem is it hasn't been marketed that way. This is on the production for any of these events to find out. So Vogel's saying, I literally don't know a thing about this fucking guy.
The Tractor, by the way. His nickname's The Tractor.
Right, but I want to tell you, how is that possible? How can I possibly not know anything about Vogel saying, I've watched hours of this guy play.
Yeah.
This is on the production to find out what's interesting about this guy.
Yeah.
If you go look what made poker interesting, it was that the story told was they gave you something to root for this person.
Did you watch this Final Table?
No,
you know everything about Vogelsang. You know why his nickname's the Tractor. You know why Chidwick's the Train. You know why Makita Badzakuski's the Milkman.
But nobody watched. That's not how it works. People don't watch this because they find it boring. And they find it boring because
this is impossible to find boring.
The message has been put out, but it's a hard message to overcome. The message has already been established. They're boring.
I haven't. That's what I think is unfair.
Who roots for Vogelsang? Who the fuck roots for Vogelsang?
And
why?
I love the Tractor.
I don't know anyone that roots for Vogelsang.
I love the Tractor. I think his Tractor is sexy.
I think you're
Kenny
joking.
Chesney's no, I'm not. I'm not joking. Just listen to this. This is the. I want you to do commentary, by the way, to sort of spicing this up. Did you watch this hand? Have you seen this hand?
No, man.
This is the sickest hand you've seen. We're gonna roll the footage for you guys. Joey, soak this in.
But the reason
ridiculous.
why I haven't seen it is because you got to get it in front of me. You got to get it in front of the poker audience.
For $6 million.
Look at this guy. I'm done. Like I don't want to watch this anymore. That's the thing. You know what I mean?
You got to watch the hand though.
I'm more interested to watch it.
Third.
I would have turned off 10 seconds ago.
You know, he used to dress like an actual literal penis. Now, they didn't let him wear the scarf thing and the glasses. I think he looks great.
I don't remember that.
I mean, look at this. Hefe here, Stevie. Just watch this hand. You're already judging. You're not allowed to judge. It's like 3 minutes. Maybe longer. This is actually two. This is
2019, man.
No, this is
got
2
8 minutes to watch.
This is 2 hands
to watch
in one.
50
We're
minutes of
one
this.
of the hands. This is 2 clips.
Well, this is bad. This is bad to put those two together because people think they're going to watch this for 8 minutes and they don't have 8 minutes.
And we'll defend.
Who's that?
That's Hanks. That's me.
Is that you?
That's me.
No wonder why you're showing me. I'm kidding. No wonder you're showing me.
You're going to love this. You're going to love
Chidwick
this.
flops a deuce.
That's fair for everybody. A wheel draw.
They're playing, by the way, for $2.6 million. Four-handed. Only 2 spots get paid. $2.6 million up top. Only 2 of them can walk.
How much they got of themselves? Are they really?
I don't know that.
Are they really?
Kerry's got all of it, I'm sure.
Are they really playing for that much? I don't think so.
Steven Chidwick is a bad motherfucker.
16,000.
No one says he isn't.
Bad motherfucker. He's,
sure.
This guy's great.
Okay. I'd like to know more about him.
I think they're a pretty nice hand to have here, ace-5 on this sort of board with the down bet. I would suspect it's, the best of it most of the time.
Chidwick does check call. Queen of diamonds on the turn. His deuce is still best.
Is this a good 2-barrel ticket now for Christoph? Another Broadway card. Obviously, we have equity with the wheel.
He does reach for chips again.
Designed to apply pressure on exactly what Chidwick has.
I actually don't have
Stay with me, Joey. You already know.
But you understand, like, this is so boring, right? Like, the play itself is the play, but all the other components around it aren't that exciting.
How good is this guy, the train? Just chugging along. He's not going anywhere.
Does make the call. Ten of diamonds on the river.
This is also a substantial river card. Having the ace of diamonds in your hand, Vogelsang. He can draw up an elaborate bluff here, representing those backdoor diamonds. All the Broadway tickets have come in. He absolutely knows ace-5 is not the best hand. Question is, can we ever get a jack to fold?
$155.
There it is, 155. We're going to represent this flush.
Going for it.
I was dead serious. I was leaving.
And if Steven
called,
sees through this, I'm taking
if he called,
his headset off and
you're walking out
directly
of
out of this building.
This would be quite phenomenal.
Watch anything good?
He does reach for a time bank.
That's it. I'm going to take the headset. I'm
granting
walking out
him
of
an
here.
additional 60
I'm a man of my
seconds to
word, Jeff.
act. Chidwick find the call with just deuces.
It's about over.
No, but this is a big problem, though. That's what I'm trying to explain.
The fact that he's even considering it. How good are these guys? This is just sick.
This bores you?
I'm explaining why after this.
Oh, come
Okay.
on. Is
I'm
he
not
really
thinking about it from my
55.
perspective.
They're going to
For
roll the
me-
video right now for the show, so we'll come into this and you give us the explanation.
I'll break it down for you,
Yeah.
all of it. I'll tell you exactly why this is.
No, they left 98,000 behind.
Does he go all in?
Oh, the check raise.
This Vogelsang goes all
This
in.
guy isn't real. None of this is real.
This is absurd.
Unbelievable.
Steven Chidwick.
What if Vogelsang calls? He's like 4 or 5 call, and he's like deuce, and you're like, good. That'd be insane. That'd be...
Okay, so I show you that.
Keep the hand up for a second.
My
Right.
I think it's unfair that a lot of these guys, the Vogelsang, so you said, like, boring already, stop the clip, I think that these guys are entertaining. And yes, their production could do more. We can tell the story.
So let's start. I think it's very important to have this discussion. So I'm going to better explain to you different ways to think about this. So why do you find these guys exciting?
Because I'm a poker fan, and
Right.
even if I'm not a hardcore poker fan, I would see this. If I just know how to play, I would see this and be blown away by the high level, the bluffing, what they're doing right there to me is insane. And you get to know a little bit about the person throughout the final table. You know where Steven's from. You know he's got a new kid. You know all of his titles.
How many people do you think are watch this live in the moment on PokerGo?
I'm sure we could look at the numbers. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, if it were on ESPN, obviously it'd be a lot more than PokerGO.
Right, exactly. But it's not. So now you
But Super High Roller Bowl, the regular one, is on NBC Sports every single year.
Okay.
This one was just the first runoff internationally, so it's only exclusively on PokerGO.
Right. We don't have the other people in the community ever actually watching things like this, and that is very important because you need the actual community itself to be watching this stuff and to sharing it as well and saying, hey, check this out. And then in addition, you have the actual players themselves. Steven Chidwick, Vogel saying, right, I can go ask 1,000 poker players, tell me 2 things about these people, and I would imagine most people would have absolutely no idea about them. That is not only a challenge of the production, it's a challenge of poker media in general, and it's also a challenge of the players in general. One side has to go out of their way and say, okay, I am going to put a disproportionate amount of effort into saying exactly who these people are. What is Steven Chidwick's life like? What do you do growing up? What does he do right now? What does he like to do for fun?
Can you name that sort of stuff about athletes?
I have a pretty good idea. Yeah, I can tell you more about their personality because they speak more and because you see them in action more.
Press conferences,
the most famous players, the best players, I know almost everything about. Yes, and most sports fans do know most about them. They put that out there, but the media also contributes to that greatly in multiple different sources with ESPN, Fox Sports 1, all the media outlets, NBA.com, The Ringer, ESPN. They all producing content on a consistent basis to let you know more about who these people are.
Yeah.
And that doesn't exist in poker at all. So while a play might be cool, also in this Super High Roller Bowls, the idea that most people have as poker audience, like, well, they don't have a big piece of themselves anyway. And now this stigma's been out there that, oh, we want to see people gamble for their own money. And if they're not gambling for their own money, we don't give it. People just seem like they've looked down on that. So now there's multiple things people are now looking down on. The slow play, the tanking, the no emotion shown at the table, people not playing for themselves. So now you have all these different things that have been established in poker content that you don't have to overcome as a content creator, as someone who's advertising this stuff. And now this is one way to promote a hand like this, but I would argue this is the worst way to promote a hand like this because, right, we might watch this for 5 minutes, but we can agree, right? This is a very pivotal moment of a very pivotal tournament.
Oh, yeah.
And it matters a lot, right? But the copy for this doesn't display that, right? No one's ever going to know this anymore. So if you didn't watch this and know what's happening right now in the moment, you're going to have absolutely no fucking idea what's this is and what this matters. And exactly. And once again, this is the challenge of the production and of the content creator itself. These companies are so, like, they don't want to work together with each other because they're in direct competition in their mind with each other, when in reality, that's how you actually grow the industry, is you are working together in some capacity. So you have the players not cooperating with the media, the media not cooperating with each other, and no one's really trying anything new out there. So it's like, well, why is the interest, like, it seems like it's popular, right? But is the interest there? Now there's more competition out there with Netflix, with HBO Go, with UFC, with Fortnite, with Twitch streamers. So now you have more competition to overcome, and you're doing the same exact approach you're doing 6 years ago. It's not going to work very well.
Yeah.
So that's why you have to say, okay, well, what does UFC do well? If you care, right? If your goal is to grow poker, you have to say, well, what are other people doing to grow their industries?
Partner with PokerStars.
What?
You partner with PokerStars.
I mean, you could. Why not?
That's what they did.
PokerStars partnered with them.
Yeah, that's
right. PokerStars realizes that UFC has a lot of attention on them.
Yeah, smart.
Right. No, it's
smart.
PokerStars geniuses, man.
No shit.
Whoever's in charge.
They're still making $1 billion a year. Anyway, we're going to get to PokerStars, by the way.
That's because they're geniuses.
Which let's jump right into that. Geniuses. That's one of our topics.
But I want to finish one more thought on that solver thing.
Okay,
right?
give me another solver thought.
So the Seidel tweet he made was that players that play with solvers are boring, and the play itself not boring. We can agree on that. Mm-hmm. But then it's also on the commentators to then have the knowledge to be able to tell you what exactly is happening, why it's not boring, why this deviates from that. And that's the job of the commentators too.
Yeah.
If we look back before on the edited videos for World Series of Poker, the commentators added a lot of value to that because they would just keep it simple. They would be surprised. Whereas nowadays, we don't get that. We get this more, the commentators like knows a little bit, right? So it's like they know enough just to say, oh, I like Willie, you know what I'm saying? Like, but we're not really... And there's not much excitement from commentators out there for the most part. There's not much understanding and be able to articulate that on the spot.
You think Jeff and I did a bad job?
I think you guys don't do a lot of commentary for sure.
That's a first one.
Could it be different? Right, exactly. That's my point. How could you guys do a world-class job at it when you guys just don't do much of it?
Yeah.
Like, you guys, it just has to get better. When I do commentary, I suck at doing commentary on PokerGO.
Yeah.
I think that I could be doing such a better job.
Remember
but
when
I
you
just
took
don't
a phone
know
call
how.
one time in the middle of a stream? Your phone down, you just started talking while you're...
Oh, yeah. I'm serious. Yeah. No, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, when I do commentary, on PokerGO, I don't even have an idea of what people want to hear or what they want to see.
Right.
So I do this, and like in my mind, I'm just like, man, I could have done. I listen to Nick Schulman, and I compare myself to Nick Schulman. I say, this guy, why is he popular? Is because he's able to articulate things at such a high level, on such an instant, and he's able to make the audience understand, no matter what part of the audience you're in. He's able to make you understand what's happening. So now you understand why Stephen Chidwick might have done that and what he's thinking.
Sure.
And I think one thing that you do extremely well on your commentary and just in general as a personality is you bring so much energy and excitement to it that's what I love about what you do, man.
Well, thank you.
And I think that's what you're really stepping up a lot with lately. I think you've just like taken it to another fucking notch because you've seen that's what's going to work for you.
You are the
so
drugs
now
help.
you have. Well, I mean, listen, you do some cocaine and some ecstasy beforehand. That's cool, right? But you got to know what your strengths are, and you got to know what you do well.
Yeah, I appreciate
right?
that.
But that's that, and like Jeff's more of this kind of guy. He's still learning about poker. He doesn't know that much about poker.
Yeah.
So how can you ever expect Jeff Platt to say, okay, be able to articulate all of these high-level spots and then have the confidence in himself and the belief to even put himself out there and speculate like that? But I would argue that that's actually a great thing to do. As a learning player, you're like the guy at home being like, man, like, why would he ever do this? Like, right?
Right.
So when that happens, I put myself in the shoes at home. Like, what is this guy thinking? Brent, what the fuck? Like that sort of commentary to me, that would add more of an effect there because now you have this dull time, you have this lull time of nothing happening where you at home are processing that. And now you at home as the viewer have your thoughts in your mind. And now the commentator fills in. He's speaking like you. And you say, oh, this commentator, I fucking like this guy.
Yeah,
He's shocked as I am kind of thing like that.
Oh, man.
But that's what commentators can do.
Yeah.
And that's what they can add the value to moments like that too. And I think with someone like Jeff Platt, he brings a lot of excitement and a lot of energy just at his job in general. So he's
a polished broadcasting professional. That's his background.
Exactly. So I think the poker world is really grateful. Should be grateful to have a guy like that at least aspiring to do something in poker, and someone like yourself, new blood as well too.
Yeah.
But we haven't really had who's the new blood besides you two really doing much commentary. Nick Schulman hopped in. He's a beast.
I'd say Jamie Kerstetter during the World Series.
Exactly.
She's a new one.
She's gaining
Yeah.
And she's gaining some popularity too.
Yeah.
But we haven't really seen that at all.
No. Yeah. You're right.
We haven't seen people give people a chance.
Now we've gone off tangent, but that happens when you and I get together.
Right. Definitely does. Yeah.
This is what happens. The World Series is, let's go there, right?
Okay.
So we had all these events, 50 plus events. Mm-hmm. Every single show that was, whether it was on CBS or it was on PokerGO, seemingly had its own different tandem. There was nothing consistent. You didn't have Nick and Ali every single event. You didn't have Tuckman and Jeff Platt every single event.
Right.
You had someone new, some new analysts. I was one of the shows. We had Jesse Sylvia come in. You had Randy Ole come in. I mean, all these players just come in and do commentary.
Right.
Nothing was consistent. Would you say that's good, bad, or do you need to just have smaller tandems that would work on that sort of chemistry together?
I kind of think that a lot of the people that do this commentary are thrown in there without any sort of guidance on what to do. And I think that's where, once again, production behind the scene comes in and says, okay, here's some a blueprint for how you can think about this. Because I have no idea what I'm doing when I do commentary.
Yeah.
I just say, okay, let me bring my excitement, my passion, some knowledge about what's happening. But I know in the past I haven't been that articulate about what's happening, especially at PLO tournaments, because I just simply don't play PLO tournaments.
Right.
So I think that I can bring a lot to the table in terms of, hey, tune in, I'm doing commentary. And I think I have a lot to offer there. But I think I could do an infinitely better job at doing that commentary itself. So I think that we need to give people out there more of a chance to even do commentary, more of the analyst position, right? So we can say
color commentator / analyst, and then the play-by-play is always going to be somebody silky smooth, like Jeff Platt or Ali Najad.
Right. So Ali, for instance, right?
Yeah.
He's by himself. It's different than when he's with Nick Schulman.
Yeah.
And that goes to show you how great Ali is. But is he going to be that great by himself, or is he going to be better with someone else? I would argue him, who is so quick on his feet, is going to be much better off with somebody with a very high level of knowledge and articulation in general, because Ali, that's what he possesses. And I feel like he's not able to really display the full range of what he has in store. Because you talk to the fucking guy knows a lot. He knows a ton, man.
He's a brilliant guy. Yeah.
You wouldn't know that necessarily from just listening to him do commentary, because you just know he's funny and sarcastic.
You ever read his Instagram? I can't understand any of the words he puts on his posts. Well, they're a thesis about the restaurants and the meals he's
really?
eating.
I gotta listen. I gotta follow.
Oh my
him now.
God!
I didn't know that.
It's just
that's cool.
It's so strange. I have no idea what he's talking about. You'll have to tell me when you dive into it.
I love it.
The overall philosophy, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Is you're saying you want to bring more people in, more give opportunities to be commentators.
I would bring more great players in to do commentary. Yes.
There's a flip side to that.
They won't.
So now
they don't want to do it because they don't get paid or make money opportunity costs. Right.
They're losing out on their value of playing in cash games
will.
or tournaments. But yeah, now you can find other people that are on the fringe, right? But aren't you then losing the opportunity to build the chemistry with the play-by-play, right? So Jeff Platt and I, if we were to do more and more events together, I have no doubt that we would get better and better and better. However, if we only do one thing a year, do we really have that opportunity for growth?
Well, also, you're also a player too.
I'm a player as well.
So you're not just like a regular person doesn't know about
poker.
But
you see what I'm saying. Doesn't it seem like you have to have more and more repetition, more and more experiences as a duo, in order to become the best, or not the best, but to get good?
Well, I think if you look at other industries as well, which is what I would like to do, is that you see, who does well and why do they do well? And that's a huge part of things is the actual chemistry itself. And you don't actually have to get that chemistry only on air. That's on you as the broadcaster to go behind the scenes with Jeff and say, okay, Jeff, let's run through this by ourselves. Let's just get reps in right now. Yeah, that's what Tony Romo, when he prepared to do CBS with Jim Nantz, they did how many practice games do they do behind the scenes?
We don't know.
Before they get on air.
A lot, right?
But I've studied that, and they do a lot of that kind of stuff like that.
Right.
So when you bring new commentators into UFC and you say, okay, let's do this, well, the reason why they can do well is because they practice that stuff so well. And they take it so seriously because they're high-level performers that they hold themselves to a high standard. Just like I just told you. When I do commentary, I wouldn't settle for just being shitty. I wouldn't settle for that. I would push myself and practice as much as I could to gain chemistry with my partner and that type of thing to get better at that.
Yeah.
So I would say some duos do need that chemistry, and you certainly can gain a unique edge, but what's more valuable then? Is it the value of having that high-level knowledge and articulation from a person, or is it having that level of chemistry? And what's your goal of commentators? Is it to build up commentators that people really want to see on their own, or is it to have the commentators just be there and add some value, but it's not like you're going for Lon and Norman, anything like that, but you go for Ali and Nick Schulman at something like that.
Yeah.
So that's on you as the company or as the whoever to decide what kind of vibe am I going for and what kind of style am I going for. And I don't necessarily think there's a perfect answer to that.
Yeah,
situation.
I don't know if there is a right answer.
I think they're both can be tried out, and it's just something you got to run the sims. You got to get out there in the lab.
The solvers, the commentator solve, pile commentator
solver. I'm sure there is, though. I would imagine there is. I haven't studied it all.
Yeah, there probably is. All the major networks that have good, billion-dollar budgets. Anyway, speaking of billion-dollar budgets, PokerStars. That's our next topic.
Let's do it.
Okay, cash game changes, and I instantly thought of you when I read this for your 50,000 hands in a day.
Yep.
No longer is that able to be done because PokerStars has changed it from your ability to multi-table 24 tables at once, and they have now capped you at 4 tables at once. Maybe you can still do 50,000 hands in a day. I don't know. What do you think about these changes?
Well, I believe it was just for regular tables, so I think if you play Zoom tables, you're able to play more than 4. I don't know that for sure because I haven't looked into it because it's just sad in general. But yeah, end of an era, right? To be able to, I 24 tabled for millions and millions and millions of hands at PLO and No Limit, played the most hands in a day at No Limit and at PLO. Most hands in a month, I believe, at both. Maybe
you have 2 records there?
So I played the most hands in a day at PLO 6 Max and at NL Full Ring, or NL 6 Max rather. And then I played 600,000 hands in a month at NL Full Ring, and I played
600,000 hands in a month.
And then I played 400 or 450,000 hands in a month at PLO at 6 Max.
Have you ever equated how many hours you think you've put into playing poker?
No.
They say like 10,000 hours, and you're sort of an expert in the field.
I think it's how I can do a podcast and talk about poker at a high level when I actually can't articulate much about the strategy itself, where it's just all in my head.
Crazy.
Like
I think
I've just put so many hours into it. It's very inefficient. But yeah, it's I don't know. We'll see what happens in the changes. I probably won't pay much attention, so I don't really know exactly what's going to happen with the changes.
Speaking of,
personally have no interest in even caring about it, to be honest with you.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Another end of an era. PCA. It's been 16 years.
Right.
PCA no longer happening in the Bahamas. They're sort of switching that, the Platinum Pass, what do they call it? The PokerStars Platinum Pass?
Right.
The PSPT, I think that's what they're calling it.
PokerStars Platinum Pass,
there you go. That is now moving to Barcelona. Okay. That'll be happening at the end of August. So long, Bahamas. Hello, Barcelona. A couple of other changes that we're uncertain about. How many passes are they going to give out? We don't know. And they definitely took away the $1 million added prize money
of course they
to
did.
the top of that tournament.
Why would they ever do that again?
Yeah, it seems
it's already going to be popular. I mean, I think if you look at the effort PokerStars put into the Bahamas one, for the Platinum Pass itself, it was a lot of effort, and after that, they were like, fuck this shit. They were gone.
Right.
So I think that a lot of different, I mean, I think there's a lot of positive things. That event was amazing. I loved going down there. But I think I personally...
You beat me there. I was going to ask about your experience.
I loved it. It was so much fun.
And you made an experience great for other people as well.
Oh, it was so much fun, man. I just enjoyed that so much. I enjoyed meeting everybody. The energy was on like nothing else, but it just seemed like the effort to maintain that energy went away. And all you hear is complaining. I couldn't believe it. All these people complaining down there. I was like, this is amazing. It's 80 degrees outside. I'm walking the beach for hours. Like, this is awesome. And one person, get this, these tournament motherfuckers, Brent. One person said, this place is like hell on earth.
Hell on earth?
Hell on earth, Brent. I looked at him.
During the hurricane?
I looked at him, I said, what are you talking about? Like, this is I'm outside, walking the beach, meeting people out there, getting some sun, having a great time. This is like, what the fuck are you people talking about, man? How can you have that? It's just... But that's the kind of environment that a lot of poker players have because they're not winning. They're envious of other people. They're not putting much effort anymore. They don't have that same passion. No one else around them has that passion. Their environment is on Twitter. Twitter's negative and toxic place to be. So they go down there and they really think the Bahamas is a terrible place to be. And now in their mind, they might say it's hell on earth because I got to spend a lot of money. I don't have money to spend because I got no bankroll. All the food's expensive. There's no good food. So I can understand complaints like that. But
struggle.
Step it up, man, a little bit, right? Like, and step up something, right? Step up whatever it is, and it's just that's how things go.
Right.
And I think the actual structure down there for things, I don't really know how it could be different or better. I'm not sure. I'm not knowledgeable about that. But I do know that you see what's possible. PokerStars put in a year-long effort to promote the PSPC. They went down there, and they fucking crushed it. That was an awesome event that brought the community together. And this Barcelona event, as you said, Brent, you think it'll be bigger than that?
It's going to be bigger.
You're right. I think so too.
I think Barcelona's gonna be bigger.
Barcelona, everyone loves Barcelona. It's right in that European part where everyone can access that. Europeans can go there. Everyone around the world can get there pretty easily. Anyone from America can justify a trip down over to Spain.
Yeah.
For a little fun in the sun, man.
Right.
A little nude beach or topless beaches.
You like that, huh?
You gonna be out there?
I belong at a nude beach. I should probably spend a lot of time on a nude beach.
I can't stop. No, I can't stop staring away at those legs. My God.
Calm down. My mic is rattling. And
my girl's going to get jealous.
Oh, boy.
Thinking about your nude over here.
Yeah.
You're right. I'll see you on the nude beach in Barcelona.
You and I, nude beach, Barcelona here. We won't even play poker.
I'm excited, brother. That's a tremendous thing PokerStars does.
I think they have a shot to redeem themselves over the next decade as far as sort of their missteps, their mishaps along the way.
Why do you say that?
I just think they're too powerful. They're too sharp. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're still generating $1 billion in revenue from online poker alone.
No.
Like, we don't even know about it.
I don't believe that's true.
I think it is.
As someone who reads the quarterly reports, I can't say that's not true, but
it's like just shy of $1 billion.
I'm led to believe that's not. So that you're saying that's after expenses?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay. I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure that which that might be
Either
true.
Either way, maybe it's going down.
Right, but if you read what they say and you study what they say and you find their goals are nothing to do with
poker. Not poker?
No, their goals are completely to do with sports betting and online casino style games.
Even, they put zero marketing, by the looks of it, into the casino and the sports betting. I've never seen any ads for that stuff.
I don't believe that to be true.
Have you seen them? I can't think of any.
If they don't directly advertise, then they advertise through PokerStars to get people on the platform.
Can you
to then
imagine
drive them
if they're
to those...
printing money off of that and they don't even advertise? Like, that is...
I think they have to advertise.
That's crazy.
BetStars, whatever. I don't know what it's called, but I'm pretty sure they do. I think I've seen commercials with Moneymaker for that kind of stuff.
Maybe I'm nostalgic and optimistic and hoping. I'm hoping that...
Yeah. I think they're about making money, and the future to make money for them is in the sports betting world, because once that becomes legalized in the United States,
they're going to have all my money.
They're going to be crushing it hard, and they're already like business geniuses, man. Those guys, I love studying what Amaya does, or Stars Group, whatever their name is. I love studying what they do. It's
fascinating,
inspiring, and if you are an entrepreneur.
Speaking of inspiring, how about the W Coup? That is happening right now as we speak. Mm-hmm. Sean Deeb just won his 8th title over there.
Not surprised.
He's 4th on the W Coup leaderboard. I had to look it up. I used to love this, obviously back in the day. Right. I'd follow the leaderboards. I'd lose all my money playing W Coup and Scoop and all this stuff. I'd never win a thing. I don't have a title. It costs me so much every year. God damn it. Now I'm just PTSD. But anyway, W Coup's still a thing. Tons of events, hundreds of millions of dollars in prize pools and generating and going out. Lex, I always say his name wrong. I'm just going Lex
Veldhuis.
Veldhuis,
yeah. Lex Veldhuis.
He won $96,000 on Twitch. So, was going bananas. He's really fun to watch. He's the only guy I can watch on Twitch.
He's a unique person. That's why
he's vulgar.
Very vulgar.
I like that.
I think he is not afraid to be himself. and other people are on there, they're playing a character. I think that's what you see with a lot of poker content in general, is that people are playing these characters that they think what other people like, and they don't want to offend anyone. And the thing about offending people is that you then have to deal with that criticism, and people just don't want to deal with that criticism. And now we don't know if Lex is perfect, how he really feels deep down inside about the attitude that he brings to this and the feedback he gets. But I think a lot of people out there appreciate the non-PC sort of adjusting that a lot of people tend to do out there in the poker world and in the world in general. So you're right. I think he is. Plus, he's a hard worker. It's easy to look up to him. It's something that you could admire, and you say, I inspire to be that way. That's inspirational to me. And I think he has that success in poker over time that you can trust what he's saying. And if he tells you that you can do this or do that, then people are going to believe in that too.
There were like 7,000 or 8,000 concurrent people watching him at the time when he did that too. That's amazing, the Twitch numbers. It's incredible.
Cool.
Speaking really cool. of Twitch, Ryan LaPlante got his career best score. He got $196,000. He made 2 final tables at the same time playing WCoop. I think this was like last night.
Yeah.
I woke up to all these things in my alerts.
No surprise about that. The guy is one of the hardest working people that I see in the poker world for sure. That guy busts his ass. He's constantly trying to get better. He doesn't have this negative attitude like I can't discuss a hand. He posts his hands out there, posts these ideas. He gets a lot of critical feedback from people because people these motherfuckers, they always have to be right about the hands, right? Like if Ryan proposes a different idea in his hands and says, what about this? People are like, oh, you're so bad, you're this. It's like these people act like they're the perfect fucking players, and that guy is willing to at least think about alternate perspectives on a hand and say, okay, maybe this, maybe that.
I always participate in his questions. Right. I'll post his hand histories, and then you choose an answer, and then I'll go back and see what he did.
The guy's got,
I'm like wrong 90% of the time.
There's alternate ways to think about things. Yeah. Right? You can justify a lot of plays if you build it into an overall winning strategy and you think about how it might affect the overall game dynamics and the flow and your ability to get better at a different strategy as well, too. So it's very easy to justify, and that's something Nick Shulman does well, and I think he's very right, is that most people think there is a right or wrong way to play. And I don't believe that's true. I believe that you can build a very, very aggressive strategy. You can build a very tight strategy. You can build a combination of the two. You can build a heavy exploiter strategy. You can build a heavy solver strategy. You can build some sort of combination of everything. And you can have these different gears, and obviously changing gears used to be a big thing.
Oh, you're defining solve for why?
What is that? What they do?
I don't know. I think you're solving right now.
I think they're more. I don't know. I actually don't know what their main core is. I think their main core is they just like to teach people in a different way that isn't solver based. So they're still teaching general ideas, but they are more outside the box in terms of for Berkey. He thinks about it in this way. Yeah. And Peak is going to get shit from it. But the thing is, we don't know. Like, what are we judging this on? Is he winning or losing? We got no idea. Right. So we can say, like, theoretically incorrect, but I don't necessarily think that if you think about how to put that into an actual strategy, because a lot of things I'm sure that people watch me play and they might say, oh, I don't think that's right, but I fucking crush when I play Potluck Omaha. Yeah. So it's like, well, what's your win rate, right? 2 big blinds per 100. All right, mine's here. So it's who's doing right and who's doing wrong? Yeah. Like how do you decide that? Right. Yeah,
until we have a chart or graph or database where we can see all this stuff we don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's really hard to say, okay, like fundamentally this might not be correct, and according to the solver this might not be correct. But if your goal is I want to play an 85 BPIP style because I want to play in private games where other people are playing 75 BPIP and I want to be playing very well with that 50th to 70th percentile of my range against these other players, well then, go ahead, do what you got to do.
All these tutorial sites, man. I swear.
A lot of them out there, Brent.
There's too many. And
everyone's got a site.
They've ruined poker.
What does that mean?
And now everyone knows how to play.
Sure.
Come on.
What does that mean, ruin poker?
Delete them all. I want everything to go away. And no one's allowed to learn anymore except you have to work on it on
Here's what's happened. We go back to something I said earlier. Here's what's happened. Strategy's evolved. Nothing else has evolved. Yeah. So there's no other, okay, where is the marketing to get exposure to poker? People just say, okay, like poker players are boring, and I don't disagree. But there's a lot of boring people out there. It's on you to present that story in an interesting way. Like Bill Perkins, perfect example. Before I had him on my podcast, everyone thought this guy is this dumb businessman who doesn't know how to play poker. He's just a goofball. You get him on my show one time, now everyone's like, this is the smartest guy in poker. What happened? You got 2 hours of exposure on a platform that people then saw that was then shared and talked about amongst the people in the community, as I told you before. They shared it themselves. Mm-hmm. So now Bill Perkins, one podcast, he goes from this dumb fish guy to this guy's a fucking genius. Mm-hmm. Right. What's changed? We just know more about him.
He's good friends with Dan Bilzerian, too.
But that was what he was known for before. He's known as friends with Dan Bilzerian. You didn't know anything about the guy. Now when he goes and plays, you root for the guy. Why? You know something about him. There's something to root for about the guy. He gives back to people. He got more in the poker community because they saw people were accepting of him.
Right.
And that's not what happens with a majority of people out there, is that you're not shown what's interesting about this person for you to take away. And if you are, not a majority of people see it because there is no real big media source that a lot of people watch.
How do you create that media hub, that giant source?
Well, I don't know. I did it on my individual level, and to a pretty easy. I barely put in much effort to even do it any advanced. I've just done a kind with a podcast.
How do you do that and tap into the mainstream vein?
Gotta be smart.
You know, like how do
you
you
gotta study what the
get
mainstream wants to see?
Find that?
You got to study what people do.
I feel like you have all the poker players and fans; they find you. But outside of that, how do we find that? How do we learn more about these poker players?
You market the exciting
and that's
parts
what you're going to be getting into
are.
more of, right? You've gone.
I don't know,
into
man.
The marketing
Honestly,
lab.
I'm not sure I have interest in doing that anymore because, like I said, I just don't see anyone else in poker really caring about doing that. I think it takes working together to do that.
Speaking of investigations, Papi, and marketing and stuff that we can't get enough of, Phil Ivey.
Sure.
Again.
Your boy.
Borgata lawsuit. Another change, a little twist. Dan Cates, Jungleman, and Ilya Trincher apparently, allegedly, that's my go-to word, staked Phil Ivey for the $50K Poker Players Championship, which ultimately leads me to a couple things right away. Phil Ivey needed a stake for the $50K Poker Players Championship, which now I can deduce, okay, he doesn't have any assets to his name because he needed a stake for this, right? It's not the same Phil Ivey that we all know and love and that we're accustomed to. So this is a different Phil Ivey.
What do we know and love about him?
Well, we used to know and love that he was the sickest poker player of all time, the stare. Right. He had all this fuck you money. He was in commercials with Jay-Z and Chrysler 3000s, and he had wads of money by his ankles at the poker table.
He sounds like he did a good job marketing himself, huh?
Well, Full Tilt
you knew things about him. Exactly, Full Tilt.
Yeah.
They marketed the fuck out of their players.
Well, there's a reason why it all ended up on ESPN because of Full Tilt and how much money they spent.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's in the headlines again for some stuff that's not so great. I worry about Phil Ivey. I worry about not just I don't know. It scares me, Joey.
Yeah.
What's going to happen to Phil Ivey in 10 years? Where do you see him?
I have no idea. I don't know what Phil Ivey's been doing. I think that a lot of these players who are behind the scenes, who aren't public, they're not public for a reason. And they don't do things for a reason. It's because they're involved with things that maybe people might look down on, but that's what they enjoy doing.
Yeah.
So with Phil Ivey, if he doesn't have interest in the poker world, then I don't have interest in Phil Ivey. So I don't really care what he's doing.
So
personally.
Is this it? Are we officially, you and I right now, going to say goodbye to Phil Ivey?
Well, I just think, like, if these players have no interest in being a part of the community, why are we so fascinated to have these? Like, I'd love Phil Ivey to be part of the community.
Yeah.
But he's not.
Right.
This is the reality of the situation. We keep glamorizing these people who have absolutely no interest in being a part of our world. Why are we wasting our fucking time on these people? You know what I'm saying? If you out there and you say, well, I don't give a fuck about you, and you keep going, it sounds like a very toxic relationship, isn't it? If I keep going to you and you're like, Joey, leave me the fuck alone. And I'm like, nope, Brett, come on, Brett. And you're like, all right, dude, leave me the fuck alone. And then once in a while you kind of come by. Well, that sounds incredibly toxic. And that's essentially what we do with a lot of these players. This is why Helmuth and Negreanu are so fucking great. It's because they actually want to be a part of things, man.
Oh, they love it, man.
Right. They love it.
They're
like,
lifers.
Cool, man. Negreanu's working hard. Helmuth's still trying to get out there.
Yes.
Mattisau's making the comeback.
Yeah.
They want to be a part of it. Yeah. I'd like to showcase those people, and I'd like to talk more about them.
So let's do this right now.
Right.
Let's say...
I don't talk about them anymore.
Let's say goodbye. Right now. Phil, we bid you farewell.
I miss him, right? It's not like I don't want to see him again. Phil Ivey's a legend.
Right.
I have so much respect for the legends of the game.
Will you miss him now that we've said goodbye? Do you miss him already?
I miss him now.
I miss him now.
Right, I miss him now. But I
Phil,
don't have. If he doesn't care about us, why should everyone care about what he's doing?
Should we ask him to come back? Phil, will you come back now?
Well, it doesn't seem like he can. He's getting his money seized by the government because of this Borgata lawsuit.
Maybe I shouldn't have said goodbye.
Yeah. I don't want to say goodbye.
Anyway,
There's
let's
a
say
chance
goodbye
he could come
to
back.
this topic right now, and
let's
move on. Let's wrap this thing up. I want to get to the power rankings. I know, Joey, personally, this is your favorite segment. You told
I
me
actually
that
do enjoy seeing the power rankings on social.
You do?
Well, the thing about it is, if you don't know what's happening, it's pretty cool. Like I wish there was maybe more like information on why that guy's number one. Because if I didn't know Sam Salverl won British Open, then I wouldn't know why he's number one.
Right. And you have to click on it to read about it. Usually it's an article.
Yeah, like I'd like to know more about why.
And we're going to explain it to him. So every week on the show, myself and the foreigner, who's no longer with us because he's getting his green card renewed over in Siberia, we'll go through it and explain these rankings.
I
and
like
then,
Remco.
Shout out Remco. We like Remco.
Do you?
Remco, shout out.
Remco.
No, I like Remco. Shout out Remco. He's having a bite to eat right now. Okay. Let's start off. I go through 10 through 1. I'm going to say a name, give you a little smidgen, and I want you to, I don't know, tell me about this.
Got it.
What do you know?
Let's go.
Number 10, Ben Tollerine, B-Tech.
Boom.
Yeah? What do you know about Ben?
I know a lot about Ben.
Yeah,
had him on my podcast twice.
Yeah.
I probably know more about Ben than the majority of the poker audience does. I think Ben is a super nice guy, man.
He's a great guy, man.
Really,
super humble, class act.
I've enjoyed the time I spent with Ben. I've been really greatly enjoyed the time I talked to him. I think he's a very thoughtful person, and I think he got a bad rap.
Making his debut here in the power rankings. And by the way, he won the 100K British Poker Open main event. He defeated El Jefe, Kerry Katz. He had $100,000 in earnings in 2019 coming into this thing, and then he won this for like 1.2 million pounds, something absurd.
Not surprised.
Yeah. Ben Tollerine, B-Tech, number 10.
Like him.
Number 9.
Right.
Bryn Kenny.
So is this from like a holdover from before when he won the $1 million tournament, or is this like something new that he did?
Bryn seems to just not he went away from the top 10. Then he came back last week. He showed up and he played Super High Roller Bowl London.
Okay.
Did a couple of interviews. He did some stuff on social media. A lot of this, by the way, sometimes people are in the rankings. I've noticed this with the committee is because of how they've caught our attention in the industry.
Smart, yeah.
And Bryn flying private, talking about how he'll never do anything but fly private jets again. He's out there with Lauren Roberts in the jet. He's eating these fancy meals. He's got his Instagram stories.
Shout out, Lauren.
He did this interview where he said he's never going broke again because he's got too much money. Too much money, he'll never go broke again. Kenny.
Also, the thing about going broke is that once you know certain people, then you can never go broke again. So I can never go, I'm sure I could, but if I was willing to ask people I know for money, I'll never go broke again. So once you are able to establish relationships with certain people, which I feel like Bryn, that's important to him.
Yeah.
He wants to surround himself with people who he looks up to, he wants to be like, that motivate him. And I think Bryn's another person that's not afraid to be himself, which I have a lot of respect for as well, too. So he's going to be himself. He's going to do his thing. If he's got an issue with you, you know what I like about Bryn?
Fucking tells you.
If he got an issue with you, you're going to settle it with him, man. And I got a lot of respect for that. And I like Bryn a lot, man.
Bryn, number 10 or number 9. That only makes sense. Number 8, Sam Greenwood. He's the good wood. Out of all three of the Greenwood brothers, he's the good one. Yeah, that's how I differentiate the two. Because he's got a twin brother. I can't tell him apart.
Shout out Luke. Shout out Max.
Luke,
Max.
Max, great
well
guys.
too.
I'm joking, but Sam does fuck. He's got $20 million in career earnings. Like he blows these other guys away. He did a great job over in the British Poker Open. Had a hell of a series. I think this is a pretty decent spot for him, number 8. This week. Yeah,
I'm hoping.
You're okay. Has he ever been on the podcast?
No, but we talked at a party this summer. I really want to have him on.
Sam. Party, huh? I heard
poker party.
A little bit of a bender.
Yeah,
they go out. They go hard.
It was out of line.
Yeah.
Line.
Sam Greenwood, the Goodwood. He's number 8. Number 7.
Okay.
Aaron Massey.
Boom. Is this his debut on the rankings?
This is his debut. I think this is Massey's debut.
Nice.
I mean, as many weeks as we've done this, I don't think. Maybe Ralph did it one time for that video that came out that went sort of poker viral.
One of the greatest,
one of the many.
One of the greatest videos I've ever seen, and not in like a wanting to put down who the video is about, but just like the creativity with it, the accuracy of it. It was funny. Yeah,
it was really funny. So Aaron Massey, he won a Almighty tournament over at the Borgata.
Nice.
They had a series, and I think what really brought him into the power rankings was the photo, and you'll see it here. He and Jared Jaffe, where it reminds me of that shot from The Princess Bride. I don't remember what their names are. Fessick and Vicini. I wrote it down. I mean, just look at this. You got this giant ogre, essentially on top of this little hobbit. He's got his arms around there. I mean, it's just beautiful stuff. Aaron Massey and Jared Jaffe.
Yeah,
so Massey's number 7.
I know those guys play a lot of tournaments. I don't know a ton about exactly what their poker approach is to things. I know that they're always they got each other's back, so I got a lot of respect for that as well too, with Aaron and Ralph and Jared. So
street poker.
I mean, I think they're just like, they seem like guys that you'd like to have in your corner.
They're Chicago guys too. I think they are. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're from Chicago. Yeah. But no, like I said, they'll actually be themselves and tell it like it is, whether you like it or dislike it too. So yeah, like those guys, man. Even though, we may have had like a little issue before or something like that.
What you and Massey have?
No, I don't. Just in general, just like something related to that. But I would hope that's behind
this
kind
of
thing like that.
Bygones
yeah.
Bygones. Okay.
Yeah, man. I got nothing but respect for anyone that's still trying out here to make it in poker, whether it's whatever has to do with it. So, yeah.
Cool. Massey 7. Well deserved. Number 6, the great one, Phil Hellmuth.
The legend.
Yeah, I mean, he keeps doing it, man.
Love him.
He went deep in some random bike tournament last week that had 49,000 people in. He called his shot, bought in day 3, and he just won the son of a bitch. Now,
what?
Yeah, he just won.
Awesome.
Or he chopped it. Like a 3 or 4-way chop, where he got third place money or something crazy.
That's cool.
Then, and of course, playing for the home team here, he's coming on Poker After Dark next week, calling it Phil's home game. He's bringing out Shamat, David Lee from the Warriors, J. Cal, that Jason Calcianis, I think's his last name.
Jason on Twitter.
David Sachs. So not only did Hellmuth sell himself again at like a 1.3 markup, every single person that bought a piece of the action, which is like 300 people, also gets a PokerGo subscription courtesy of Phil Hellmuth. So he's buying all of them a sub to PokerGo.
Is he?
Yeah, it's kind of cool. He tweeted all about it. So I think that's great.
The man is a marketing genius.
Isn't he?
And everybody loves a winner. So the more he wins, the more people will love you.
Yeah, and he does pretty well.
Especially if you're outside poker, you love a winner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They all want to be surrounded by winners outside of the industry. So.
Phil Hellmuth, number 6, the great one. It only makes sense. Number 5, Sean Deeb. We mentioned him earlier, taking down his 8th W Coupe title. Must be his wife's pregnant again. Does he only go over there and play tournaments whenever they're going to have a kid?
I'm pretty sure he just goes and plays every W Coupe, independent if his lovely wife is pregnant or not. Yes, but what can you say about Sean? Hardworking guy, great at poker,
legend.
Yeah, I love the kid.
Sean fucking Deeb. He's an absolute. No, he's great.
Love chatting with that kid.
He's great. Yeah. Number 4, the Tractor, Christoph Vogelsang. He again put on a showing over there at the British Poker Open, Super High Roller Bowl London. I think he came out of his shell. Obviously, you didn't see the footage. You haven't tuned into it, but he was chatty. He didn't tank all the time. He didn't wear the turtleneck up over the neck. He didn't have the South Park Kenny look. Didn't put on the Terminator glasses every hand. They didn't let him. That was the requirement. They said, okay.
That's probably why.
Put the glasses away.
Right.
Put away the penis hoodie. We're going to make you sit there, and you're going to have to play ball. And Vogelsang, the Tractor, put on a hell of a show. Do you know why they call him the Tractor?
Why do you call him the Tractor?
Well, I call him the Tractor because he grew up on a farm, and he helped his mom and his dad out in the fields, plowing the fields, and he plows through tournament fields every single week.
How big are these tournament fields he's plowing through?
12-player big fields.
Nice.
12.
I'm plowing through my weekly home game all the time. Then
yeah, well, yeah, but his home game's harder than yours. That's fair. Yeah.
Says who?
Actually, I don't know. That's a great point.
I'm saying.
We don't know.
Exactly.
Number 3. God, I love this kid. The phenom, Ali Amshurovich.
Okay.
I love this kid. The Bosnian Bandit. Are you kidding me? 24 years old. This guy. I mean, how does he do it? He runner-up in Super High Roller Bowl, his largest career score, $1.3 million. How
do you think he does it?
I don't know.
It's called study.
He just works his ass off.
Yeah, it's called study.
Is he a solver?
Yes.
There you go.
It's called study.
Do you have the insight on this? Are you guys friends?
I've never spoken to him before.
No.
Except on social media. But what he did was he studied.
And it's like 2 years. He's just come out of nowhere. I mean, this can be done, right? I mean,
oh yeah.
The narrative is if you put in the work,
right?
It can be done.
If you focus and you perfect the learning process, if you understand what the learning process is, if you understand how to get coaching, if you understand how to articulate your thoughts to other people and to get better with each other, and you have the right mindset, yeah,
it can be done. Doug Polk said it on your podcast this morning when I was watching it. You know, he's tired of poker. He's done. Not going to come back. And he said, you know, players have surpassed him, but he just doesn't want to put in the hours.
Well, what for why? He's already done that.
He's accomplished his goals.
The world outside of poker is once you really understand the opportunity and what's possible with these the ability you have for poker, like me. Like when I realized, like, oh my God, I can go to sleep and make money through business. You're like, fuck, man, you don't have to deal with losing $10,000 in a day. Once you start to really understand those things, and you start to understand them once you get more opportunity. And somebody like Doug, now he's like, well, I can crush business, I can crush marketing, I can crush content, I can do this. The landscape's a lot different. Me and Doug played online poker. We're not live poker players, so that's not what we grew up with. That's not what we've loved the most. Our worlds don't really exist anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, if we're going to change worlds, then why don't we just do something different and bring a new challenge on? So I think that's where that feeling from Doug comes in. I'd love to compete to be the top Pot Omaha cash game player online right now, if there weren't so many other things that you had to overcome that are not in your control.
That's a great point.
And the future, who knows what the future? Who knows if high-stakes PLO will even exist anymore?
And that's what I love about Ali Imshirovich, and that's my segue is that Ali is so young, 24.
Yeah.
He's craving it right now. That's his number one goal. He's going to go after it. He's going to continue to go after it.
Yeah.
While maybe some of these other guys are going to slow down. They've accomplished their goals very similar to Doug.
Right.
And they sort of move out of the way.
Well, it's easy to do that because once you have a goal and you achieve your goal, you then set new goals for yourself. So it's very understandable that somebody has an ultimate level of success and they're like, well, I want to go travel the world. I want to get into business.
Want more.
Right. I want to go hang out with my friends. I want to hang out with my family. So on one hand, I think we applaud that. But on the other hand, I think maybe we shouldn't applaud that. You know what I mean? But that's what it takes to be consistently successful in number 3 on the power rankings on the Poker Central Live podcast right now on a consistent basis. We need you to sacrifice your fucking life for us, guys.
Please.
You want to be on this list?
Yes.
Step the fuck up. Say no to these other distractions, and let's go.
God damn, I've been waiting for that this whole time. There, you found it.
I got me warmed up.
You're back.
I came in slow. Now I'm coming in
You're
hot.
back. We'll do another 2 hours.
I came in slow. I'm coming in hot.
All right.
Let's get it.
Number 2, Stephen Chidwick, the train, chitty, chitty, bang, bang. Are you kidding me with this guy? I showed you the bluff. You just weren't impressed. Apparently you think Chidwick stinks. I think he's the absolute best player in the planet as far as tournaments are concerned.
Okay.
And I think if you were to poll everybody, that would be the general consensus. What are your thoughts on Stephen Chidwick?
No thoughts.
That's it? Yeah, nothing?
I don't know anything about him.
Nothing on Chidwick.
I don't know anything about him.
There you have it. Stephen Chidwick, number 2.
I've talked to him one time during one of my tournament. He said, I heard your voice before.
That was
he
it?
Talked about watched podcasts. That's it. Then he busted out quick glide and we were talking. I love to talk to the guy.
Yeah.
Love to sit down and have a conversation with
He
Stephen.
won the 25K PLO event over the British Poker Open. Obviously, this summer he won the 50, or no, it was the 25K PLO, his first bracelet this summer. Mm-hmm. He's not just a one-trick pony. He can play all the games at a very high level, and he had a very nice showing, per usual, over at the British Poker Open.
Very nice.
And obviously, it was that hand against Vogelsang that, in my opinion, was one of the best hands I have seen in I don't even know how long.
So here's what I'm going to ask PokerGO, Poker Central right now, right? Like, because I know sometimes about sharing content and sharing hands, I can make sure that 4 times to 10 times the people see like a moment like that. But you rephrase the moment differently. You share this moment differently, and you say, okay, here's why you should pay attention, but just pay attention to this important part thing like that.
Yeah.
So if we're able to do that for moments like that, they're going to get much more exposure and more people are going to be able to care. And I think that we should be promoting guys like Stephen Chidwick more than we're promoting the fucking donks out there who act like clowns and then they get known for being a donk, right? Like, why don't we find Stephen Chidwick's best 10 moments and just get those out there on a consistent basis?
Top 10 Chidwick moments.
Right, exactly. I
love that.
Why aren't we featuring, if we got a Stephen Chidwick who's willing he's willing to participate in all these Poker Central events, right?
Yeah.
Why aren't we pushing a Stephen Chidwick more?
We have top 10 lists. You know that.
Right. Well, why aren't they out there for everyone to see?
They are. They're free on YouTube.
Where are they at?
Poker Central.
People watching them?
No.
I ain't seen them.
No, I don't know.
You got to get me to see them.
I'll show it to you.
But no, this is what I'm saying is you got to get me to see them.
Yeah, they're old. I don't think that they're up to date. I think we stopped doing them. But either way, that's a great point.
Right.
And it's finding more, maybe tapping into you, right? This influencer. Right. And then the influencer shares this greatness.
Listen, you give me the best moments and say, Papi, can you share it? I'll figure out a way to share them.
I want you to do that. As our number 2 player in the power rankings, will you create a top 10 Stephen Chidwick?
Well, I don't think that's the most effective way to do it. I think the most effective way to do it is you find his best moments. Someone's like, hey, here's a moment that he had. No, I agree. Well, that's why you have 150 people working at Poker Central headquarters here right now, right? It's me, my girl, my man Danny, and my guy Landon, right? Listen, man, we're a small empire right now, but I'm telling you, a few years, whether I'm in poker, I'm outside of poker, man, I'm going to be doing some things with content and business, man. I can't wait. I'm just super excited about that, man.
Take me with you, Joey. Take me for a ride.
They might get mad at me, but you're hired.
Right to that beach in Barcelona.
What kind of salary you want? Okay.
Number 1. Let's go right to this salary.
Sam
Saverill. Speaking of salaries, he won $965,000
nice.
over at the British Poker Open.
That's
2
cool.
first place, 2 second place, and a 3rd place finish over there. Absurd. He didn't even play the 100K, and he didn't even play the 250K Super High Roller Bowl. He just went over, won $1 million, came back with the trophy.
Why didn't he play?
I mean, the fields weren't great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was this compliance stuff, and I'll wrap up our power ranking. So there it is. That's number 1, Sam Saverill.
Shout out Sam Saverill.
Shout out Sammy Biscuits, baby. This guy's he's a killer. So we'll go into
Love it.
Why he didn't play.
Okay.
Well, there were some regulation issues over in the UK at the casino. And it's not just the casino. It's the entire country.
Oh.
And it's this thing they call it compliance. So if you or I wanted to go over to any casino in there and play in some sort of high buy-in, high stakes event, you have to show proof of income. And it's all about the license. So like if you're inside this casino, this one was at Asper's, right? You had to, as a player, whether you're professional or as a recreational businessman, businesswoman, you had to essentially show them your proof of income.
Okay.
Doesn't that seem ridiculous? What casino would say, oh, hey, before you come here and lose all your money, we need to see how you actually have money first? What casino in the United States does that?
They should. I bet they should. That sounds very responsible.
Yeah, I could see both sides.
I love it.
It is very responsible.
I love that idea.
It is very responsible.
Right.
So that was the issue. So now when you have, and this really turned off sort of the non-professionals that want to come over because it's like, hey, this is my private life. I don't want to send you, and I'm not kidding, 3 months of bank statements proving my business, proving my income in order to participate in these poker tournaments, right? So they just said, fuck it, I'm out. And that lowered the numbers because the fewer recreational players you're going to get obviously leads to the fewer pros that you're going to get. So now Super High Roller Bowl only has 12 entries. It's all because of this sort of compliance, this regulation, this protocol that had to be done.
Maybe we don't hold that next year there, huh?
Maybe take some extra steps to figure out how we can avoid that. Yeah,
you got to get CK on the phone with someone. Say he's got a donation.
I have no doubt that
made to a government or something like that. And,
I have no doubt that Sam and company will take care of that.
Man, CK makes a call, sets down a meeting with somebody in Parliament or something like that.
And CK won the event, by the way. He won Super High Roller Bowl.
Maybe this was a conspiracy by Kerry Katz to allow this to happen so that he gave himself a better chance to win the Super High Roller Bowl.
He still had to beat the 11 other top 10 players, top 20 players.
Better to beat 11 than have to beat 40, right?
Yeah, he kicked some fucking ass.
Well, I mean, listen, the guy works hard. What do you expect?
Good. Yeah,
turns out a guy who's capable of building some great businesses outside of poker is capable of becoming great at poker.
Being good at poker. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought a creative man with work ethic, with dedication and obsession could ever dedicate themselves to poker and ever beat these alleged top poker minds of the world, right? Like, I would have fucking...
The house that Hefe built.
Who would have thought a smart guy could watch other great players play and say, what is he doing that for? Okay, let me do that too, right? Like, of course the guy's going to fucking do well, man.
That only makes sense.
It's only inevitable, right? These guys have been playing for many, many years. CK, how long has he really been trying for? And this is,
right.
I highly doubt poker's his first priority too. So it just goes to show you if you're a smart guy and you're willing to risk the money, you're going to get better over time. So not surprised CK is able to do that.
Shout out Kerry Katz.
Shout out CK.
Super High Roller Bowl London champion.
Shout him out.
Largest career score, $2.6 million. Amazing stuff. The fact that he's not in the Hall of Fame, don't get me started on this, whatever this fucking
What are you
thing.
talking about?
He's not in the Poker Hall of Fame. Not even nominated.
When did he just started?
He didn't just start.
When did he start? What point did he make his debut?
I'd say within the last 10 years he started playing and then building the companies.
When did he build Poker Central?
Piling this resume 2013, 14.
Bro, it's 5 years. Let's calm down for a second. Let him build it up. 20 years. Right? Come on. Hall of Fame already?
Yes.
Let's chill for a second.
All right.
Let's let him get some time under his belt.
I'm
not saying he shouldn't be just for the Poker Central contribution itself alone because that's given this amazing thing to the poker world.
Yeah.
But come on.
All right.
5 years.
I'm still going to get angry about
fucking time.
All right, let's wrap this up.
He'll be there.
Are you done? Are we done now?
He'll be there.
You think
I got whatever it means.
All right. Our monitor went out in the background. That means it's a clear sign that we've been here for way too long.
They turned us down.
We're going to do our outro. Jesus. I mean, Papi.
Just getting warmed up.
Let's do this again.
Let's do it.
I like this. A little special Poker Central Life podcast.
I'm enjoying the name.
I love getting rid of Remco. So now they're back. So that's a sign, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your nickname,
thank you guys
like
so much for tuning in.
You just come up with these random names. Like, that's what I always do. I just come random. And I just say it like I mean it.
Yeah.
You know, like Brent the pigeon. Or what is that behind you? Peacock? Brent the peacock?
That's a parrot. I'm a
Brent
mallard.
the parrot?
I'm a duck. Yeah, or I guess you're Joey the Duck Ingram. Anyway, you guys tuning in, thank you so much for watching this with the king of all poker media, Joey Ingram. You got to go check him out on YouTube. I'm sure you already are. Otherwise, why would you even be here? I mean, this guy's the best. Poker Life Podcast. He's back in it. Doug Polk episode came out. You're going to get a different side of Joey.
Tomorrow.
Rob Young tomorrow.
Scott Seaver, Fedor Holes, Gus Hansen, and Nick Schulman coming up here.
Amazing. We are the Poker Central Podcast. Unfortunately, the Foreigner will be back with us at some point. Remco Rickema, shout out. Have another meal. Have another bite. We love you guys. Peace.